Charles Leclerc had a lot to say following a frustrating sixth-place finish at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, admitting he's struggling to accept his current standing within Ferrari. The closing laps of Sunday's Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix delivered high drama as Charles Leclerc and Alex Albon went wheel to wheel in a heated scrap for fourth. Albon launched a daring move around the outside at Tamburello, the day's prime overtaking spot, but Leclerc wasn't in the mood to share. The Ferrari driver shut the door hard, forcing Albon off into the gravel. To make matters worse for the Williams driver, the excursion cost him a spot to Lewis Hamilton. "That wasn't fair," Albon radioed in frustration. Moments later, Hamilton also dispatched Leclerc, and the Ferrari pit wall informed their driver he was under investigation. In a twist that didn't sit well with the Monegasque, Ferrari instructed him to hand the position back to Albon. Furious, Leclerc erupted on team radio. "This is a f***ing joke." He eventually crossed the line in sixth, just behind Albon, only for the stewards to declare post-race that no further action was necessary. Speaking to reporters afterward, Leclerc stood firm, insisting the corner was his, and he had every right to defend it. "It's true, we all have the rules in our heads, and we always try to play with them," he said, "which is what I was trying to do today. Sometimes on those rules you speak about a centimetre is enough to be within the rules or without the rules. Judging it at 250 kilometers per hour is a bit tricky. I thought I was just in. Obviously from outside it doesn't look so nice because there's one car in the gravel. But I'll look back at it and I'm always very honest with myself. If I think that I've done a mistake, I'll say it to Alex. But for now, I don't think I did." After crossing the at Imola, Charles Leclerc was still visibly frustrated. Not just with the result, but with the cloud of uncertainty hanging over his late race incident with Alex Albon. At the time, even Ferrari weren't sure if a penalty was looming, as the stewards' investigation remained unresolved. When Leclerc asked about the decision, this was what they told him. Leclerc: "So now explain to me why the penalty or whatever it is." Bozzi: "We'll know at the end. Right now we don't know. We are under investigation." Leclerc: "What do you mean?" "You told me to let him through." Bozzi: "Yes, because we're being investigated. I told you what I was told." The stewards cleared Leclerc, ruling no further action was required. Bozzi: "No further action. We stay in sixth place." Leclerc: "Okay." Bozzi: "Thanks anyway, it was a good race. We were unlucky with the first virtual safety car." Despite Leclerc's furious reaction, team principal Fred Vasseur later explained that Ferrari acted out of caution. The team, sensing a likely penalty, instructed Leclerc to give the place back in an effort to preempt a harsher sanction. "We had a bad feeling about the investigation involving Charles, so we preferred to give the position back to Albon," he explained. While some questioned Ferrari's decision not to switch Charles Leclerc to soft tyres during the safety car restart, the Monegasque stood by the call. Leclerc defended the pit wall strategy, insisting the C6 compound wouldn't have lasted the remaining laps. "Putting on the soft tyres at the end was a risk," he said. 3 laps would have been too much, and even 8 was already close to the limit. In the end, the call was the right one. Obviously, we always want more, but the safety cars didn't go in Charles's favour. We always have to try to extract the maximum from the car, and I think we did that. With just 1 podium to his name this season, a 3rd place in Saudi Arabia, Leclerc now trails championship leader Oscar Piastri by a daunting 85 points, as Ferrari continues to falter in the early stages of the campaign. He said, "I was saying before the race, it was one of the races where you've got to race with the heart and you've got to put the elbows out a little bit. I know that when it's like this, you go very much on the limit, sometimes a little bit over. But when you are starting P11, I mean, as a driver, I just cannot accept the situation we are in. I took risks. I don't think that with Pierre Gasly, I was particularly at fault over the limit. It was just a racing incident in the way it was. With Alex, it was very much on the limit for sure. I thought that in the way the rules are written, I was right on the limit of those rules. I've got to check the images again, but I don't regret anything I've done. I mean, today was all about giving it all. And I knew from the moment that I didn't take the pit stop on the second safety car that it was going to be a very difficult race." Charles Leclerc also shed some light on ongoing debate about overtaking regulations in Formula One, admitting there's simply no sweet spot to be found. "I don't think we'll ever have a situation where everybody's happy," he added. "That's my honest view on it. I think there will always be someone unhappy about it. I think it's very difficult to please everyone. I don't think we'll ever find that sweet spot. I think we've got to accept it. When you're penalized for something, you've just got to accept it. There will never be a rulebook that describes absolutely every situation. Even if there is, it would be impossible for us to remember all those rules for all those different situations." Looking at the incident post-race, former F1 driver Anthony Davidson has sided with Charles Leclerc, at least technically, regarding his clash with Alex Albon at Imola. According to Davidson, by the letter of the law, Leclerc had reclaimed the corner and was marginally ahead, giving him the right to defend. However, strip away the rulebook, and Davidson's take shifts. Beyond the legalities, he hinted that Leclerc's move may not have passed the sportsmanship test, suggesting that while it was legal, it wasn't entirely fair play. While analysing the situation for Sky F1, Davidson said, "Vulnerable to the threat of Albon on fresher tyres as they headed down towards the Tamburello chicane, Albon tries once again around the outside. Now we're in this situation where who is the overtaker and who's the defender, and how much of a gap is between them if the overtaker does actually make a gap between themselves before heading into the corner, and therefore who becomes the overtaker? Albon is the overtaker on the outside because Leclerc is hovering somewhere to his left-hand side at this point. As they come to the apex of the corner, the critical apex of the corner, he is still there on his left-hand side. So now, as the rule says, the overtaker, if going around the outside, has to have the wheel of the other car at your mirror. You've got to get your mirror alongside at least their wheel at the apex. So, he has been ahead, has Albon, before they get there, but when they get to the middle point of corner, Leclerc slightly ahead, it's like Leclerc said, it's very close. Posing the question of whether or not Leclerc was far enough ahead by the letter of the law, Anthony Davidson continued his analysis of the controversial Imola tussle between Charles Leclerc and Alex Albon. "If I throw that rulebook away for a moment, which I'm sure a lot of you will do at home, and you just look at it as pure racing moment, I actually think Albon should have been given enough room here to go around the outside. In all honesty, and he wasn't. But knowing the rules, like I do, like all of these guys do, hence Leclerc's message on the radio, these are the rules we're racing to, so I'm kind of entitled to claim that as my corner." That's what we had. And this is the moment where he begrudgingly lets through the Williams. Little did they know that the stewards were going to make the decision afterwards. No further investigation must hurt a little bit, but I do think that Ferrari probably did the right thing anyway. I see it from all sides there. As a racer, I think Albon deserved the corner. And if it was me, I'd be annoyed if I was Albon. But by the letter of the law, it was close. I think it was just a battle in Leclerc's favour. So, in your opinion, did Ferrari make the right decision by making Charles Leclerc give back position, or did they lose out on valuable points out of fear? Give us your take in the comment section down below, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.